I am tearing up.
I just about screamed right now, and I'm not even there.
Now that's inspirational, Natalie. I feel inspired today.
Part two of this.
I could be here for another hour.
And then I was talking to my class. There were only two of us, and the other guy was in the hospital. So here I am.
And I always go, he winds up homeless on the street. It's my fault.
Yeah, now you sound like my wife.
And you can get off.
I don't know. Call it Google. Or call it Google.
Yeah. Control. Alexa, how does he get across?
Paul, I cut you off earlier. What were you going to say?
What?
Dang it! Don't do that to me, Paul. Don't do that to me, man.
I don't know what got into my head, but I thought this thought, if I'm working year round, I might as well get paid year round.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and subscribe today. Now, it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Jason Batalden, and welcome to Sweet Talk. We're here with, we've got an exciting show today, but I'm a little thrown off. I got to be honest. I don't have Paul with me today. And so I'm usually used to teasing Paul a little bit or kind of, bouncing a few things off him. And I just don't have that. So I don't know what I'm going to do. We have a really, I'll just be candid. Charisse is on the show. We have our special episode, another edition or another episode of our Every Student Has a Story. And frankly, we were talking earlier, Charisse, at this point, you're kind of considered a co-host, aren't you?
I think so. I think it's official, and we should just go ahead and announce it.
You're on the show. You're a regular on the show. You probably know how this works better than we do. And so we're definitely for that. But hey, welcome to season 4 of our podcast, Sweet Talk. And we're glad that you are sticking with us. And Charisse, I am so glad that you are on the show with us today. And I'm just going to be candid. This episode is starting off our season 4. I didn't know if I told you that in our one.
No, that's so cool.
I know. And
so cool.
What's cool is we ended season 3 with Every Student Has a Story. And now we're starting season 4 with Every Student.
That says a lot.
Yeah,
that says a lot.
It is. And we love these stories. So with that being said, Charisse, let's just jump right into it. And because I understand that we have an excellent story today.
We do. We do.
On. So go ahead and introduce your guest and we'll get the show started.
So our guest today is Jared Hill. He graduated the START program last semester, and he is in his first semester as a college student at ISU. Jared, you heard about us from the ISU website, right? And then you reached out from there?
Yes.
That's what I remember. Okay. So, yep, he came to us and needed to get into school and needed to get himself focused in and kind of get his mindset back in the game. And he came and he worked really hard, overcame some pretty tough obstacles. And, you can ask him all the questions. He can tell you the story, but he's a remarkable young man.
Right on.
And I say young man because to me, he's a young man, but he's probably like, don't call me a young man.
Well,
34, I don't feel.
Hey, Jared, we got you back. We're still in the Zoom world, and of course, technology isn't always our best friend, but we're darn glad to have you back. So, Charisse set us up. She said you got a great story to tell, and I kind of want to hear this. So, I'll kind of just give you the starter question. Charisse said you found the START program surfing the web on the ISU website, and then something said, "Okay, this is what I got to do." So, what was going on at that time in your life that you knew that inspired you or it motivated you to say, okay, this is the thing I got to be doing?
Well, so back in January 18th of 2018 or 2021, excuse me. Sorry, my voice is so raspy. I fell off a roof. I was a builder. I build custom homes. And I fell off a roof and busted 7 vertebrae, 2 in my neck and 5 in my back. And I had to have 2 months later, I had to have a cervical corpectomy. and where they go in the front of your throat and they remove a vertebrae.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I landed right on my head. And so I was on workman's comp for all of last year. And about the beginning of August, because my whole plan was to go back to work in the framing industry, but then I walk on the job site and even think about getting on a roof again or anything like that. I mean, even driving, I feel like if I got in a wreck, my head's just going to pop off. But the doctors told me I had like a very, very high chance that I would never walk again, that I'd be paralyzed the rest of my life. And 3 days after it happened, I stood up and I walked out of the hospital.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that's great. That's fantastic.
So, at the time, my son's mom, this was probably beginning of August or late July. My son's mom is like, "Hey, why don't you go back to school, get into something that you want to do, and I'll work more, whatever, to pay all the bills and whatnot." So I found the START program online, and I reached out to Charisse and I did the little testing or whatever, and I tested like top in it. I think what is it, Charisse, at 250? 250 is the highest in English and math.
Yeah, so you have to get a 4 or higher on the CASAS placement test to be accepted into START, and he maxed out on the 6s, which is the highest you can go.
My goodness.
So for not being in school for a minute, what we're saying is he still had it. Like he retained it. He still had what it was going to take. So
you had been on this
school. I've been out of school for 17 years and I still got it. So
yeah, I guess that just kind of clarifies my question, but I'll state it nonetheless, is that you had this other career path. You were building custom built homes. This was the path you were going on. You had done it for I'm assuming 17 years, had established a reputation, I'm assuming. And this was where you were headed. And then this tragic accident, suddenly put a stop to what you thought was sort of where you would be spending the rest of your life doing.
Yep. And it's funny because this isn't the first accident that I've had. I mean, after I graduated high school, because I was a really good student in high school, and then I started getting into the alcohol and drugs, and my life went downhill really, really fast. Yeah. And in 2015, I overdosed on heroin.
Oh my goodness.
I was dead. They revived me. They Narcaned me. And the doctors told my parents that I had a 94% chance of being a vegetable if I woke up.
Oh my goodness.
So I've been through
Jared,
a lot of things in my adult life.
If you don't mind me saying, there's a plan. There's a plan for you, and you can't get out of it, brother.
Talk about overcoming.
Yes, right.
The overcoming to get where he needs to be is just it is amazing.
That's incredible.
So, and then to, I guess, continue or touch more on that part of my story in what was it, Charisse, October. So I'm halfway through 2 weeks before halfway through the START program. I get home from school and my son's mom had packed everything up and moved out.
Oh man.
3 days before my bills were due, my rent was due, and Charisse saved me. Like, she pointed me in every single direction I needed to go to get help, to be able to, because I have full custody of my daughter, and which she's Ella and she's 7. I have full custody of her. So now it's like, oh, what am I going to do to pay bills and keep a roof over our head, but still be able to go to school. So Charisse got me pointed out in the right direction, and I now am getting paid by scholarships to go to school.
Right on. Right on. So kind of jumping back on this. So you had the, at the time your son's mom kind of said, why don't you jump into school? You got a hold of Sharice, you got in the START program. So did you have an idea of what you were interested in or where you were headed? Or were you still in this kind of, well, I'm taking a step forward, I'm just not sure what direction I'm headed at this time?
So honestly, I was dead set on mechanical engineering, and thankfully I mean, like, as a START program, they're like, you have to tour, like, I think it's 2 different programs to qualify for the START scholarship. And so I ended up touring that one. I toured robotics, and I toured computerized machine technology, and I didn't like the mechanical engineering at all. Like, I would not have fit, I would not have liked it. But as soon as I toured mechanical or machine technology, I knew that that's where I was supposed to be, and it goes in line with what I want to do. As my end goal is to create a gun manufacturing company and my own brand of gun. And so through getting my associate's degree in mechanical engineering, then I only have like 3 or 4 more classes to get an associate's in business technology as well. So I'll just be over 2 years and get 2 associate's degrees.
And the skill and the kind of the footing you need to get started on what you're ultimately moving towards.
Exactly.
Right on. Right on. So you had these physical, I can only assume, and just from the description of your injuries, that, I mean, and granted, what an incredible thing to be able to get up and just walk out of the hospital in 3 days. But I'm assuming that's not when physical therapy stopped, when you walked out. I'm sure there was still a recovery process involved in that, wasn't there?
I guess I'm still not 100% healed, and it's been 1 year and 2 days now.
And so you're still having to address some of those physical obstacles and accommodate those in what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah, right on. Hey, so as you were doing the START, what did you, I mean, I guess when we talk about those, not just the physical obstacles, but and it sounds like too that you had how about the discipline to study and the discipline to learn? Is that something? I'm just guessing, because I'm telling you, as long as I've been out of school, somebody asked me to write a book report, I'm not sure I could do it, let alone find the want to do it. So, and I'm not, that shows my ignorance, because I'm not saying that was probably an assignment you had, but I can only assume, in addition to the physical stuff, you kind of had to address so just how to learn again.
Honestly, it just, I guess, flooded back to me.
Right on.
I was in Mike Serpa's class, and he's the higher math class where they go over trigonometry and calculus, and all growing up, I was never good at English, but all my papers I was getting B's, and then on my one paper I got an A, and then 2 B's, and then on my final I got an A. So not sure how I managed that, but
you did.
Yeah.
But you did. So Charisse, I kind of, and again, Jared, I the story is just incredible and where you're going, but I mean, this is not, and Jared, I don't mean to minimize at all what you've been through, but to a certain degree, Charisse, this is kind of what you and the START program, you guys are equipped to address these kind of situations and help people through.
I would say so. And I think there's so many of our staff that are so seasoned in doing this work and helping students at whatever level they're at, that students come in and feel supported and cared about and really like they matter. And really, like, we can only do so much. Jared had to come in and do the work. He had to keep showing up. And even though his life got derailed, right, I think he learned some really good strategies in emotional intelligence to cope with that. And I think that he had to keep bringing himself to the table. And I know he came to me at one point and said, look, like, if I didn't have this program to look forward to coming to, like, I don't know what I would be getting up for in the morning. And so
I probably would have relapsed.
Right.
Yeah, and he had said that too. And so, I mean, he acknowledged that stuff, but he didn't let it overtake him. Right. And that was kind of the gift in the situation, is that he came to learn, and he got the takeaways that he needed to help him through that little bit of time within the program where his life shifted. And what happens to our students a lot of times is if they lose their job or their, whatever, their financial support, or if something big happens, school's the first thing to go. And we try to say, no, don't go. Let us help. But it's hard to ask for help, right? And so if we can get them in here and say, what do we have? What are we up against? Let's go over the options, and we can get them connected and help where we can. Then suddenly they realize, oh, I can do this. I have to sacrifice. I have to live without some things, but in 2 years, a little over 2 years, I'm going to have 2 associate's degrees, like Jared's talking about. And so it's really just keeping them in the game and helping them maintain that resiliency and keeping that grit at the forefront of their mind. Like, just when things get hard, we don't jump ship. We stay on board.
Well, and when school is, I mean, for me, and I assume that any person that's going to school, like, that's a huge goal to accomplish when you do accomplish it. And I know that I would have regretted it every single day if I would have quit. But my safe place was at school. Like, I could forget about all the hardships, even though, I mean, I had to really, really work hard, like 10 times harder, to be able to make it happen and to be able to stay in school, stay in the program, and still raise kids.
Right. Jared, I don't want to, and I don't want to press, so I want to give you let you know that you don't have to kind of respond to this line of questioning, but you brought up earlier, you said, there was obviously a risk for relapse. And so I'm taking then that you're also, working on a recovery as well, as you are, that's a part of your life, and probably some of the significant glue that's holding things together.
So in that aspect, I've been clean now for 6 years, 3 months or something like that.
Very good. Very good. And today is day number 1, right? Isn't that kind of how that goes? Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, every day. Yeah.
But I don't know what I would have done. So, I mean, one of my favorite quotes, or my motto that I made when I was in rehab, was never say never, yet never forget.
Right.
And so I can never say that I would never do it again, but I also know where I was at when I was using.
Right.
And last year was the hardest year of my life, not being able to do the things that I want to do and be able to work. And so, I mean, I guess mentally I was going crazy because I had to sit home all the time.
Right.
So, and then after my son's mom left, it was like my whole world just turned upside down. But I knew that when I was at school, I could let that go and I could work on me and work on the things that I needed to do. And that was where I love to be. Mm-hmm. And I still, even today, I love going to school.
Right on. Isn't that weird? Were you that way in high school too, or no? Or did you?
I never missed a day.
Also, that's cool. I got to give you credit, man. That's awesome. So you were able to. But I think the other thing is you found the support going to the STAR program, and Sharice, obviously, and there that probably would not have been available maybe in a different type of program.
Oh, absolutely. Sharice, Mike, Serpa, Mike Clark, Tim, Angie, all of them, Brooke, they're Katie Leishman, she's center of New Directions or whatever. Every one of them, they have showed me incredible support, and they're my go-to people.
Right on.
Still to this day, I talk to Sharice probably almost every day.
He calls me for questions I don't even know how to answer, and I'm like, look, buddy, I'm not in college. The same thing you're doing. We're gonna have to call somebody else.
we can talk about the weather, for crying out loud.
We can. What's for dinner? We can talk about that.
That's right. That's right. So I guess, Jared, just help me recap. So you've already earned your associate's degree, or no? You're working on both of them right now together simultaneously.
Well, so I'm taking generals like over or online or whatever. So I take every semester I'll take one extra general credit. And then by the time I graduate for the associate's degree in machine technology, I will have enough credits that will go towards the business technology credits.
Gotcha.
And so I think when I talked to the director of the business technology program, we sat down and looked at it, and I think I'll only have to I'll have to do like 4 or 5 more classes, and then I'll have 2 associate's degrees in 5 semesters.
Right. So that's, yes, excellent. So then you brought this up earlier, gun manufacturing. So have you, I know you're in the middle of it, you're plowing through these courses hard, but kind of just looking ahead, what's the next step after the degrees? Or have you been able to kind of formulate that idea yet?
So, I mean, I'm going to have to get some experience in like the field, and so I can learn more and stuff. But I plan on, actually, the owner of Remington Arms moved to Shelley just recently, so he lives not very far away from me, and my landlord's daughter knows him personally. So I want to talk to him, and then there's another guy in Pocatello that does like gun fabrication and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did it all line up? Are you seeing this stuff just lining up?
Kind of like, right, exactly.
Just blowing me away. This is me. Everything's lining up.
Right.
I didn't know that part, Jared. Come on.
That is cool. Right on.
Well,
I don't know. This probably is a side note, on this, Jared. But when you get into the gunsmithing part, my father-in-law left me an old gun that I need to get refurbished and ready to go. So you just let me know when you get to that spot, and I've got a gun that I would love to get back up in honor and memory of him. So
see, and I tell him, when you're wealthy and you've got it all lined up, you give back to START. We donate money to students and START for scholarships and emergency funds. That's what we do.
That's right. We ought to remember to give that back too. Hey, by the way, I know you guys didn't hear that, but that was the timer. We hit the 20 minutes on that. And it goes by so fast every time. I don't know. Maybe one of these days we need to look at re-examining that 20 minutes. It seems like every time it gets good. I don't know. Jared, I got to tell you, don't take this wrong, but I feel like there's a lot left on the table as far as, and I appreciate your struggle, and I appreciate what you shared, but I just have this feeling like, there's a lot more about how you got from walking out of that hospital room to where you're at today. And just from our conversation, obviously your attitude, your positivity, the hope and that you have for the future is is just incredible and a testimony to your character. So I got to tell you, I feel like there's some more there on the table that we could talk about, but thank you very much. So
Absolutely, and I'm always here to help anybody that needs help.
very good. And with that being said, I'm going to kind of segue. First of all, Charisse, I'm beginning to envy your job just a little bit, because every time you come on with every student has a story, you've got a student with an incredible story. So it says something, and what an opportunity you have to work with such wonderful people. So
yeah, it's the best job in the world to watch the transformation. It's just incredible to be a part of that.
Right. So I'm going to just throw a flat out plug here for you, Charisse, is simply, if you are sitting there listening to this podcast and wondering maybe what the next place you need to go, you're stuck or just not right where you need to be, and in school and education and learning skills is what you're thinking is the next place to be, Charisse, they need to get a hold of you.
They do. Call my office number 208-282-4359. You can email start@isu.edu, and that comes directly to me. We have a start page. If you get on ISU's website and search start, we have a start page. It explains what we do. Our application is there. Our contact information is there. But yeah, even if you feel like you might be ready, let's visit.
That's right.
You are ready.
That's right, Jared. And
Jared has no excuses.
If you feel like you're ready, that means you are ready. I like that. There's a new tagline for you, Jared. Yep. That's good.
There's absolutely no excuses.
That's right. So if somebody's listening out there, Jared, and something about your story struck home with them, are you okay with them reaching out to you?
Yes, absolutely. My email address is Jared, Jared, Hill, Hill, 2 @isu.edu.
Very good. Very good. You guys, thank you for being on the show today. That was incredible. Hey, I got to put this on the end of our show. If you guys, if listen out there, want to learn more about what we do here at Continuing Education Workforce Training, or as we love to call it, SWEET, you can get a hold of us at 282-282-3372, or you can email us at train.isu.edu is our website, and email us at cetrain@isu.edu. So you guys, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
Jared, thanks for inspiring and encouraging me today. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
He's a rock star. He's just a straight up rock star.